the nervous system in order to simplify the study. One here is structural classification, which basically boils down to this. You break the nervous system down into two component parts. The central nervous system, which from here on out I'm going to abbreviate as CNS, which is made up of both the brain and spinal cord. And then you have the peripheral nervous system, basically everything outside of the central nervous system. This is going to include your muscles, the nerves going to your muscles, all the sense receptors bringing pain receptors from your fingers into the brain, and I'll abbreviate peripheral nervous system from here on out as basically PNS. The way to classify the nervous system, again to simplify the study, is based on what it does, and in this case you would have both sensory and motor divisions. The sensory division, or afferent division, is basically like you see right here, bringing in all the senses, and we're showing here the eye, but you can substitute your pain receptors in your fingers as well. That sensory input goes into the integration center, which is our brain, and then you have the second division, which is the motor output, where if you've stubbed your toe or something, you're going to kind of pull your foot back, and the motor response there is to yank your toes back. Now, sensory input can boil down to the special senses, sight and hearing, for example, as well as cutaneous receptors, the pain receptors in your fingers, touch receptors, heat and cold receptors, and so on. Now, the motor division is also divided up a little bit more efficiently. The motor division, or efferent division, is divided into two parts. There's two subdivisions here, which is the somatic nervous system. Now, the prefix soma refers to body, so the somatic nervous system is basically going to be everything to do with your body. And then you have the autonomic nervous system. Autonomic, like automatic, this works at the subconscious level. And even this one is divided into two further subdivisions. The parasympathetic, which is basically your rest and digest system, and the sympathetic division, which is your fight or flight. Flow chart here is kind of showing the overall flow here, of the central nervous system here. And as you can see up in here, central nervous system. This flow chart also combines functional as well as structural. Okay, here you've got the central nervous system, which is brain and spinal cord, and your peripheral nervous system, which is made up of both the cranial nerves. Basically, these are coming from the special senses going right to the brain, and the spinal nerves, which are carrying impulses to the spinal cord. And of course, you see here the sense organs will send impulses by way of the sensory division to eventually this brain and spinal cord. And the other communications going the other way here, from the brain and spinal cord, or peripheral nervous system is carrying impulses to the motor division, which is either going to be somatic, and remember that's voluntary, this is basically your skeletal muscles, or autonomic, which is going to be involuntary. And examples here like the cardiac muscle and any other smooth muscles. And then this subdivision here, you're either going to have parasympathetic, rest and digest, or sympathetic, fight or flight.